Oh, I have one of those VSAs. 20 bucks.
There's an address for
There's news right there.
They have a table. However, it's also important since I still have my driver's in Montana and one house in Colorado last week.
I know, we don't need to play with that.
Anything. It could be jury nullification. You know, you don't have massive crime in Alaska where they don't require it.
Run a little play in the background.
Yes. Well, it's very nice to meet
Nice to
you.
meet you. I met Michael down at
The Supreme Court has repeatedly confirmed the principle that police have no legal obligation to provide you with personal safety. The role of police is public safety, not personal safety. They are largely reactive. You cannot sue the police if you are robbed or raped. What this means is that by default, you and you alone are responsible for your personal safety. You cannot opt out of that role. You cannot hold the state responsible for your failure to protect yourself or your family. The state is immune from being ineffective, arriving late, or not arriving at all. In order to be prepared to carry out the awesome responsibility of personal safety, some of us use wisdom and exercise our constitutionally protected right to carry a firearm. There are tactical advantages to carrying a firearm concealed that enhance personal safety. Keeping it hidden removes the temptation by a criminal to overpower and disarm me. Keeping it hidden eliminates the guarantee that I am the first victim shot by a bank robber or a spree shooter at the mall that sees I'm armed. Keeping it hidden gives me the element of surprise and an attack. So, while I am left with the awesome and sole responsibility to provide for my personal safety, the best method of doing so, carrying concealed, is undermined by the state that requires I pay what they call a fee for their permission to possess my personal defense weapon in a manner of my choosing for optimum advantage. Now, words mean things. A fee is an amount paid for an elective service. A fee implies I have a choice in the matter, like rotating my tires or paying a fee to Les Schwab to do it for me. But I have no choice in providing for my personal safety. The state shares no part in that responsibility, yet it encumbers me from using the most prudent manner to do so, concealed carry, by a tax on that manner of possession under the penalty of arrest for a misdemeanor if I wear a coat over my gun or stick it in the glove box. The Idaho Constitution does allow for the state to make laws governing carrying of weapons concealed, 1833-02. But that law contradicts the Constitution. The Constitution says no law shall impose a special tax on the possession of firearms. But subsection N2 of the law requires a citizen pay a fee for permission to possess a firearm concealed. Again, words mean things. Possession means having, owning, or controlling something. If I want to have and control a gun under my coat or in an ankle holster under my pant leg, because that manner of carry is the most prudent way for me to provide for my personal safety, but I must pay a fee to do so, then it is a special tax by another name, placed on my right to possess it's my right to possess a firearm in the one manner that serves my personal safety best, concealed carry. When I have no choice in the matter, it's not a fee but a tax. The state does not force me to drive. I can elect to take a cab or bus and pay a fee for the service. I can opt out, and pay nothing. If I choose to drive, I pay a processing fee for a driver's license. Fair enough. The choice is mine. But I have no choice in the matter of providing for my personal safety. The state has placed me in a position of disadvantage to the criminal when it puts a tax and furthermore a consuming process between my sole obligation to provide for my personal safety and the best method of doing so. It is unconstitutional and even more immoral than taxing my food. Police know it is very rare for a permit holder to commit crime. They are by and large rule followers. As it stands, police can run records checks on people detained, for example, on traffic stops. The records checks tell police if the person stopped is a permit holder, thereby giving police a heads up that the person could have a gun on him or her. Does this ostensible advantage to police justify the state to require an entire population jump through hoops and get a permit? No.
No.
I agree. I know all too well that police work is dangerous. If someone is acting in a way that causes an officer to believe the person is armed and a threat, then under Terry v. Ohio, the officer is authorized to do a limited, warrantless search for weapons to be safe. It is the exception to the rule that a permit holder is going to be on the wrong side of the law. The heads up from dispatch that the person is a permit holder tells the officer that he has stopped a rule follower more than it tells him anything else. The permit requirement does not deter a determined criminal from carrying weapons concealed. Will it stop a terrorist or spree shooter from carrying concealed until he gets to a position of advantage at the mall and from there pulls out the gun and goes to work? No. It will, however, stop a rule follower without a permit from carrying a gun that could have stopped the attack. Police do not gain any substantive officer safety advantages by the concealed carry law because those who comply with it are rule followers. The only measurable thing the concealed carry law does for police is provide them a tool to arrest an armed gang member and take him to jail where valuable intelligence is gathered like booking photo, fingerprints, and tattoos. But is that leverage over the gang member worth the price of liberty paid to the law-abiding citizen? No. The price paid is the infringement inherent in the concealed carry law. That infringement compromises the citizen's personal safety from the very same gangster the police use the law to arrest. The state has placed the rule follower at a disadvantage to the predator by denying that citizen the at-will freedom to possess a weapon under a coat, in a purse, in a glove box, for fear of being snared by the same law the gangster was arrested for. There are already laws to punish parolees and certain felons for possessing firearms, and when law enforcement catches them in violation, they are charged accordingly. There is a law against stealing guns and possessing stolen property. When law enforcement catches those offenders with such contraband, they are charged. The concealed carry law is obeyed only by rule followers. It is misguided, illogical, and immoral. The unconstitutional tax component is a revenue-generating scheme. Through wordsmithing, it is called a fee. The law is argued necessary under the Orwellian banner of public safety. In fact, the concealed carry law makes citizens less safe by infringing on their right to possess a firearm at will in a manner that gives them the best advantage, concealed carry. The U.S. Constitution and Idaho State Constitution should be sufficient legal authority and permission for a citizen to possess in any manner of choosing any firearm equivalent to that carried by light infantrymen, as was the intent of the Anti-Federalist under the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think we can go home.
There we go.
I got nothing to say. I wish we had, in fact, I know we have a lot more individuals like Doug who have taken the oath to defend the Constitution and uphold the Constitution. There's a lot more of them like him, but they're afraid to speak out because the agency heads will come down on top of them. He's a former deputy who took an oath and it's glad to see him upholding that oath. Thank you.
Hey, where are our heroes? We're looking for our heroes.
All right, next. Most of you know her, or should know her by now. Hopefully you don't know her because of legal trouble. Our attorney, Alexandria Kincaid, is the top Second Amendment attorney in the state. We're proud to have her on board the Idaho Second Amendment Alliance, and she does it all for free, thank heaven. we don't have that much money. But it's been an honor and a pleasure working with her, and we'd like to welcome her to the podium, please.
Thank you all for being here. I'm going to be pretty short. I just want to mention that the first time I met Greg Pruitt was about 3 years ago. And what he was doing was standing outside the doors of Boise Gun, asking people to sign a petition for constitutional carry. Over 3 years ago. Why has it taken that long to make any progress on this bill? Where are our leaders? Yeah, and thank you, Greg Pruitt and the Idaho Second Amendment Alliance, for taking a stand on this and not accepting the no answer that they're trying to give us. Really, we're just looking for a leader here. And Greg has grasped this beast. He's going forward with it. He's not accepting the no. He's saying this is what the citizens want, and this organization is going to help them get it. And to the extent that he can do that, he's doing it. And I really am grateful for his effort and for the Idaho Second Amendment Alliance. It is gaining ground. The state and the people in the state at the state level have the ability to do so much. And I've spoken with people at the national level who say, hey, you know what, there's a lot going on at the national level, but what you do at your state level is so very important. Over 15 bills across the country have been proposed for constitutional carry this year. And you know what? They're not stuck in committee. They've passed a House. They're moving forward, and we need to accomplish the same end here in Idaho.
Yes,
Alexander! One of the things that I've learned in my law practice and in my work with the legislator and in all the things that I do is that you, the people, need to remember that it's not necessarily someone who's telling you no that has the power. It's you, the people who are here right now. You have the power. Keep going. Let's get this done. Yes. And thank you, Heather Scott, because you know what? Again, we need a leader. And she's not accepting no for an answer. She realizes what the people want, and she's willing to stand up and say, you know what? I'm going to help you get it. So,
What she didn't tell you is that when we were down at Boise Gun Company, I think it was me and my buddy Seth down here, we told her what we were doing and what bill we were trying to get passed, and she said, hey, you know, here's my card, I'm an attorney, I'll take a look at that for you. And I thought, there ain't no way in hell a lawyer's looking at my stuff. So, yeah, that was a big mistake, but we ran back into her again and got her on board, so blessing in disguise there. But she's right. We've been trying to do this for 3 years, and we finally got a bill put forward, even though we had legislators saying, oh, let's do it next year, let's do it next year, and that's pretty much what they've told us every year since 2012. And I said, forget that, I'm putting it in. And so we got it put in, and then we tried to find a sponsor. And all these pro-gun Republicans, wherever they are, I couldn't find any.
They're all progressive.
Nobody stepped up and said, hey, you know what? Even though this may be difficult, it may be controversial, I'll step up and take it. And we couldn't find that person until just recently. We are so proud and happy and glad that a freshman legislator from up north in District 1, Representative Heather Scott, finally said, you know what? This is what the people want. I will do it. With that, we'd like to invite her up here, and she's got a few words to say.
there you go. There you go.
Mayor Scott, and thank you all for showing your support to the Second Amendment. I'm from District 1, as he said, which is up in the very top of the state, Bonner and Boundary County. And as you all know, I've recently signed on to carry this House Bill 89. Not sure quite what I'm getting myself into, but I'm ready for a challenge.
We're with you.
I've chosen to support this bill because I believe in liberty and freedom, and I believe the majority of the citizens in Idaho want to strengthen and protect our Second Amendment. Our Constitution acknowledges that citizens have an unalienable right to keep and bear arms. And currently there's 5 states that have constitutional carry laws in place. Idaho needs to follow suit.
Yes.
While I believe the initial intent and purpose of many of the concealed carry laws were passed in good faith as an interim step to gain public support for greater control, I believe now's the time for Idaho to step forward and embrace our Second Amendment rights. The numerous concealed carry laws around our country are inevitably making it harder for law-abiding citizens to protect themselves, either through excessive, complex regulations, higher costs associated with getting a CCW permit, or both. House Bill 89 would eliminate these hurdles. I know this is an important bill, and I look forward to the challenge of moving it through committee and the House floor.
Yes.
Now, I'm sure you're all wondering, what's the status of House Bill 89?
Yes.
Anyone wondering?
Yes.
Okay, as of today, House Bill 89 is sitting in the State Affairs Committee on hold. Yesterday, I spoke with the State Affairs Committee Chairman, Representative Tom Lurcher, to get an update on what the status of this bill is. He said it's currently being looked at by an ad hoc committee to make sure that no glaring legal problems exist with the current language. Concerns were raised about the reciprocity. I can never pronounce that, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
Issues with other states. Based on the amount of emails he is receiving, he is fully aware that there is a lot of interest in this bill in Idaho.
Keep sending them.
Yes.
Chairman Lurcher wants to make sure that the legislator gets the bill right the first time so there are no regrets. And while Chairman Lurcher is a supporter of constitutional carry, he is not a member of the ad hoc committee. I didn't know what an ad hoc committee was, so I had to ask. And I am told that this ad hoc committee is a group of senators and representatives and Second Amendment lawyers who are reviewing the bill. They have no official capacity and cannot make law. And I'm not sure how you get on this committee.
Good old boys.
I was told that this ad hoc gun committee came about as a result of previous missteps made by the Idaho legislator in the past when an excellent gun bill was introduced, but yet the Senate didn't understand what it was all about and killed it. The legislator says they did not want this to occur again, which prompted this committee to form. This committee informally reviews all gun legislation to make sure it doesn't run into the same problems again. And I'm told that last year this committee helped pave the way to pass campus carry through both the House and Senate. It is clear that law enforcement agencies across the state need to understand and embrace this bill. House Bill 89 is a great bill, and the Second Amendment Alliance has worked on this issue. I want to make sure that we're successful with this legislation becoming law. Ad hoc groups are not the place where bills get voted out and passed. The State Affairs Committee is the starting point to move this bill forward. And my question to you is, what are you going to do to move this bill through the process? Each of you has 2 representatives and a senator. Do you know who they are? Yes. Good. Because it's your job as a citizen to direct them of your wishes. And this probably isn't in the form of masses of emails, but maybe individual voter to representative contact directing them on what their job is. Remember that you are the citizen. You, the citizen, do not work for the legislator. We work for you. And you need to be clear when you contact us exactly what you want to see done. You do hold the power as citizens, and until we as citizens recognize that power and exercise that power and wield that power, we're going to keep being where we're at. I urge all of you to call or write your senators and representatives and politely direct them on your wishes. Respectfully urge them to support this bill, request that it gets a hearing date and passes through committee. Urge them to vote yes when it does make it out of committee. And we're only going to win this fight if we use facts, maintain respect, but be persistent. Thanks for coming, and the power to do this and to move this, it does, honestly, it lies with you, the people, and the citizen. And it's your job to drive the legislative process. That's part of living in a republic, and I think sometimes we forget that. So make your voices heard, and make them heard clear, loud, and often. Thank you.
One more. I'm going to move the podium back. There we go. One more round of applause for all of our guest speakers, please. In a bit of irony, I got this in my mailbox recently. It's my renewal. They're going to charge me $40 to defend my life. It's unbelievable that in a state like Idaho, we are having to fight so hard just to get something heard in committee. They've had horse racing and all sorts of other issues that do not fall on our side of the aisle, and yet Republicans are sitting on this. They've been getting thousands of emails and phone calls. We've got people here, we've got thousands of signatures on petitions from all across the state in every single district. And yet they're sitting on this bill in committee making up excuses why they don't want to go forward. They don't want to go forward because they're afraid. They're not afraid of us, and that's the problem. They're afraid of what law enforcement agency heads or other people are going to think of this. That's the problem. We've got to make them afraid of us by going to the districts and voting these guys out. You don't do what we want, you're gone. That's the bottom line. As Representative Scott said, this is within our power to do it. And we're going to keep coming back year after year if we have to until we get what we want. And it's not even what we want. This is an alien. This is a God-given right. You have a God-given right to defend yourself. Nobody can take that from you.
That's right.
When I presented our bill, House Bill 89, to the committee to get it printed, I told them no legislator, no law enforcement officer, no firearms instructor, no other citizen has the right to tell you when you are qualified, when you've paid enough taxes to defend your life. It's got to stop, and it's got to stop now. Yeah!